What's the difference between Arctic sea smoke and fog? Have you ever looked out over the icy waters of the Arctic and seen what looks like smoke rising from the surface? That phenomenon is known as Arctic sea smoke, and it's quite different from regular fog. Let's break down the differences between these two atmospheric occurrences. Arctic sea smoke, sometimes called steam fog or evaporation fog, happens when very cold air moves over warmer open water. In polar regions, patches of open water often appear amid sea ice. When the warmer water evaporates, it releases moisture into the colder air just above it. Since cold air can hold less moisture, this vapor quickly condenses into tiny water droplets. This creates a fog that resembles smoke rising from the water. Typically, Arctic sea smoke is shallow and confined to a thin layer above the water. It can look turbulent or wispy, sometimes forming spiraling columns. The height of this fog can reach between 20 to 30 meters, but it usually stays low enough for ship lookouts to see over it. This phenomenon is common in polar regions because of the frequent contrast between the cold air and the relatively warmer water exposed by melting ice. On the other hand, fog is a more general term that refers to a cloud of tiny water droplets suspended in the air near the Earth's surface. Fog can form in various ways. For instance, it can occur when moist air cools to its dew point or when warm, moist air moves over a cooler surface, which is known as advection fog. And like Arctic sea smoke, regular fog does not require the specific condition of cold air over warmer water. It can form over land or water surfaces. Fog layers can be deeper and more uniform, often covering larger areas and lasting longer than sea smoke. For example, advection fog forms when warm, moist air passes over a cooler surface, causing the air to cool and moisture to condense. This process is different from the evaporation-driven process that creates Arctic sea smoke. In summary, the main differences between Arctic sea smoke and fog lie in their formation mechanisms, locations, appearances, and temperature conditions. Arctic sea smoke forms from the evaporation of warm water into very cold air, while general fog forms when air cools to its dew point or moist air moves over a cooler surface. Arctic sea smoke is typically found in polar regions over open water surrounded by ice, while fog can appear in many environments. Understanding these differences is important, especially in polar regions. Arctic sea smoke can quickly reduce visibility over open water near ice, which can affect navigation and safety. It also indicates the interaction between melting sea ice and cold polar air, influencing local climate and weather conditions. And like typical fog, Arctic sea smoke serves as a clear sign of the dynamic thermal contrasts unique to polar environments.